Welcome into this week's episode of Inside the Charge. Maddie Glab here, and we've got a super exciting guest that I think people actually know. Not actually, they definitely know worldwide. It's TikTok star Josh Richards. He's a content creator and has 26 million followers on TikTok, and the millions go beyond that if you look onto YouTube and Instagram. I mean, you blew up on TikTok a few years back, and it's been so fun to kind of read about where you started, where you came from, and you started and came from somewhere a little bit close to Buffalo, which I love that we have you here today to talk about all of that. You grew up about an hour outside of Toronto, and you have some ties to Bills Mafia, so that's where we're going to start here, Josh.
Okay.
When did you become a Bills fan?
Yeah. So when I was a younger kid, we used to come to Buffalo, me and my dad, a lot for sporting events because the sporting events in Buffalo were a lot cheaper than the sporting events in Toronto. Like, you were going to sit nosebleeds at a Toronto Maple Leafs game, you could kind of get, mid-section at a Buffalo Sabres game. So very quickly, I started kind of having, any Buffalo team kind of became that, guilty pleasure team to cheer for.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was, tied to Toronto, and those were the roots. But when the Bills came and started doing their Toronto series, where they would play in Toronto, play at Rogers, that's when they kind of became even more of Canada's team, I feel like, and really became my home team. So it was a pretty easy decision to start cheering for the Bills.
I love that. So it started with the Sabres first, and then it kind of bled into the Bills.
Yeah.
I know some people may think okay, there's these stars in the world who have a lot of influence and power on social media, and people kind of just pick a team that they're going to root for, or pick a flavor of the month.
Right,
I'm going to be this fan here, I'm going to be this fan there. But you actually have ties to Buffalo, this community, the Sabres, and the Bills, which I think is so awesome. So what have you thought of the team the last couple of years? What have you thought of the Bills when you've gotten to watch a couple of games? Because you've been here before too.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it before. Came here last year for the snow game when it was Buffalo versus Miami. So that was pretty insane. I love being able to be a Bills fan. They're exciting games. They're great games to watch. We obviously have a really strong team, so it's a fun time to be a Bills fan. And I'm ready for us to just win a Super Bowl, You
and me both. I think
let's
you,
just
me,
do it.
Bills Mafia,
Allen,
the team,
Diggs,
the coaching staff.
Yeah, come on. We got it.
Why not? What do you think of Bills Mafia? I mean, what was that vibe like at the Bills-Dolphins game last year, the snow game?
It was probably the coolest NFL game experience I've ever had. I was telling, actually, the people we traveled here with that I have more fun going to that Buffalo-Miami game than I did going to Arizona for the Super Bowl. Just the environment in Buffalo, having it be a snow game too, that was a lot of fun. Snowball fights, during the game, people are throwing snowballs into the field. The energy that Bills Mafia brings to a game it's unmatched. So, and they kind of treat every game like it's their Super Bowl, which I love.
Do you have any favorite players this year? Are you a big Josh Allen fan, big Steph Diggs fan? Do you have one that you cheer for more? Do you have a guy that you feel like you have similarities with? Who do you like to cheer for?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Josh Allen and Diggs.
You
How
guys
can you
share
not?
the same name,
You
too.
know,
You and
share
Josh.
the name of Josh Allen. So it's the guy has a great name. His parents did that one thing definitely super right. So, and probably a couple other things too. He's an NFL superstar. So, but yeah, I love Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs.
You also had a really cool opportunity this past year at the NFL draft. You got to announce the Bills pick, Dorian Williams. What was it like to be on that stage, to kind of have that rush of adrenaline? How was that experience in general?
The Buffalo Bills select Dorian Williams, linebacker, Tulane. Let's go!
That was really cool, and to be able to do that in Kansas City as well, who obviously is a pretty big rival for the
Talked a little
Bills.
smack. I like it.
Yeah, it was fun. It kind of felt like what I would imagine talking to a crowd in the WWE would feel like. There were cheers and boos, and it was back and forth, and I was bringing them in a little bit with complimenting Kansas City just to tear them back down and be but this is our year. So that was a lot of fun, and getting to do a draft and kind of be a part of the future of the Bills is really, really cool. So,
do you get a different type of rush or a different type of feeling from doing stuff like that in front of a crowd versus doing a TikTok video that blows up?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're in front of the people, even if it's a lot less people, you know, it becomes so much more of a real moment than likes or comments on a screen.
Speaking of likes and comments, you get so many of those. And I think people, you know, they could come across your page on TikTok or be scrolling and see one of your videos pop up, and they could think like, oh, this kid just blew up overnight and it would just happen off one video. But if you really look at your story, you started making content way before TikTok even existed. So when did that start for you?
Yeah. So the start of the TikTok was really with Musical.ly, and it was pre like ByteDance coming in and buying it, and it was me and my sister making videos in our parents' basement, having a blast. And one of the videos that my sister posted on her account, because I didn't even have an account at the start, it blew up, but really got like 50 likes, 15 likes, something in that range. But to us, that was viral. We're running around the house, we're celebrating. Our parents are like threatening to ground us because we're being noisy. And then I saw there were 2 comments on the video, and they were girls, and they were asking what my username was. So I was like kind of feeling myself a little bit, like, all right. So I ended up making an account, and it kind of rest its history. Like, me and my sister just started making videos every day. We found out we could go live. I cut my sister out on like a 15% commission-based salary. We started going live every day and like being able to make some money for a 14-year-old, 13-year-old. And it was just like a lot of fun. And that was kind of like our summer project. And the last week before my high school year started, I had a video blow up. And it got...
What year was that?
That was 2016.
Okay,
I want to
cool.
say. So we had like my first video ever kind of go viral for real, got like 250,000 likes, and I woke up with 26,000 followers, and I had like 2 days before my first day of high school ever, and I was like, well, this is going to be awesome to throw in the mix. Wasn't awesome, actually. Went to high school, it did not help at all, but you know, it was worth it in the end. Look at me now.
I mean, you're a good brother, though, for giving your sis some commission there.
I mean, she deserved
and
it. I
having
probably
her
was
part of
fleecing her.
everything.
I was probably fleecing her, honestly. She was probably doing more work than 15% commission-based salary. So, you know, she's in LA with me now, though, working at Crosscheck at the production company. She's going to stay down for a year, so hopefully she feels like I've made it up to her somehow.
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely. So you say you go to high school and you think blowing up overnight or making this video that blew up is going to help, you know, your street cred in high school. Then you go to high school and it's probably a different story. But what was it like to be a normal high school kid in that high school and then on the side continuously start to gain a bigger and bigger following?
Yeah, I mean, I think because I grew up in such a small town, or a smaller town, like the town of Coburg had 16, 17,000 people when I lived in it. So I knew everyone in the town. Everyone knew everybody in the town. So I think that all the kids, you know, it's not like their perspective on me changed when I started doing videos in the light of like, oh, this kid's famous. And I was just, this is Josh Richards doing silly videos online.
This is Josh being Josh.
Yeah, so then as time went on, I think to me it kind of like it didn't feel real because I was just seeing the same people I saw every day. It's not like I was in a big city, and, you know, people weren't coming up and asking for a photo or anything. And then when I went to my first ever social media event called Playlist, and it was in DC, I went to that event and I walked into the hotel and I had like my bags with me, and I'll like remember this moment for the rest of my life. And I go to check in, and pretty much as soon as I walked through the doors, there were like 3 or 4 people that come up and ask for a photo. And that was the first time I'd ever been asked for a photo before. So I was kind of like, at first I thought they wanted me to take a photo of them. I was like, yeah, I can take a photo of you guys. And they were like, no, like with you. Like, can you be in our photo? And I was like, yeah, I can be in your photo. Sick. So I think I was more excited that they asked me for a photo than they were to get a photo with me. But that's when like kind of the first like, whoa, what the heck? This is real moment came, and I like just fell in love with it and started doing it every day since then. Would
you call yourself an overnight celebrity, an overnight sensation, or do you think you wouldn't even put a label like that on it because it took a lot longer than many people think that it did? Yeah, I definitely wouldn't put a label on it like that. I also think I got more work to do, you know? Like, I got more stuff I want to come out with. You sound like an NFL player here. Yeah, maybe it's just, you know, it's a set. It's got me in a vibe, so. I love that. I love that. What is your favorite type of content to create? Because if you go to your page, you've got a little bit of everything. You've got day in the life stuff, you've got stuff with your girlfriend, you have lip sync, you have trends. Like, is there a favorite in your mind?
Yeah. Obviously, I love making content with my girlfriend. I feel like if I didn't say that, she'd probably be a little bit upset that that wasn't my favorite thing.
You guys are super cute.
Thank you. But I think actually right now we're working on a project with Crosscheck. It's a comedy sketch show we're doing, and that has been probably my favorite piece of content that I've ever worked on in my life. It's been such a fun process to be involved, from like getting to be in the writer's room to, you know, being on set at the end of the day when we're filming, and I get to, you know, help a little bit with giving suggestions and directing, but a lot of it for me is, you know, being in front of the camera and getting to try a new character every day. And I'm really excited to see what people think about it, and it'll be coming soon.
What else has this industry, being on TikTok, having the following that you do, like 26 million on TikTok, what doors has that opened for you? You talked about Crosscheck there and getting to do a new type of show. What other doors has this opened for you that you've kind of fallen in love with and never thought that your life could kind of lead to the things that you're doing now?
Yeah, I mean, so many different opportunities. I think, you know, it's kind of like what you make of it. Like, obviously, you can become big in any area, if that's even football, and then you can go and branch out, right? You see people become analysts, you see people start to have their own shows, you see people. So I think for me, it was very much like I knew I had a following and I knew I had an audience, but how could I move this into different genres, right? So being able to go into venture, being able to invest, that's something that I always loved the idea of, but obviously don't really have the connections in the town of Coburg to get into that. So being able to find social media and then find the right people after that were able to mentor me, that was amazing. I mean, doing social media allowed me to get into contact with Mark Wahlberg and start the production company and really get that off the ground and get to have mentorship from, you know, one of the greats, I believe. Like, I truly think he's awesome and just such a surreal person. So I think it's opened countless doors.
You are one of the biggest stars on social media. You have a really good hold of what social media is, of videos that get a lot of attention, get a lot of likes, get a lot of love, get a lot of comments. Where do you think social media is headed?
Oof. I mean, obviously, I feel like right now we're seeing like the era of the podcast, right? Shout out Barstool. That's another opportunity that I got because of social media. So shout out Dave. Always really appreciate him and like bringing me into that world. But I think right now we're starting to see live streaming really take over. These like day in a life streams, these streams that are going all day long, like people are starting to stream their entire 12-hour day. Twitch is absolutely taking over. TikTok is now starting to try to compete with Twitch with their live stream features. I've noticed how much more time they've put into the live. Now we're seeing competitors like Kick and Rumble. So I really see this new movement kind of going into live streaming.
Does that excite you, or does it freak you out a little bit?
No, it excites me. It excites me. I always love when there's something new to crack or new to try. I kind of came up live streaming. That's what I originally did. So to get back into it, if I were to get back into it, would be a blast. Like, I would stream 4 hours a day every single night from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. from the age of 14 to 17. So
Going back to my roots.
Yeah, going back to the roots, that's fun for me.
Speaking of roots, I'm thinking of hair right now, and you've got a flow, and you broke the internet over your flow. When have you always had this hairstyle? Tell me about the hair. Tell me about your favorite way that you've worn it, because you've also had some different colors in there as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm liking the hair right now. Just kind of flowing it back. It's easy. I like the dark hair. I feel like I went through a couple awkward stages until I figured out what I like, you know? I think it was kind of like a trial and error thing. I used to always have it like in the front and just spike it up, which was easy and great. But no, I like it now. I like it now a lot. I used to be like the kid that had like the Bieber haircut in grade 3 that was like doing that all the time. Like, I'm probably going to have like neck spasms when I'm like 60 or something from it. It sucks. Sue Justin Bieber. But yeah, so I like how it is now.
What are some of the best comments you've gotten from your hair on the internet? Are there any that stick out in your mind, or is it just the volume of comments that you've gotten about the hair?
Volume.
The
Nice.
volume. I didn't even realize I did that.
I don't know if I feel like the most common one I see, or like the one that stands out the most, is like people that are like, I want to touch his hair, which I think is kind of a weird thing
It's
to
a
like
little, yeah.
comment, you know. I would never comment like I want to touch your hair on someone's post, but
But here we are.
It's all good. It's all
I
good,
won't.
all
I
good.
won't ask to touch your hair.
Okay,
It's okay.
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, Gabby would not be happy with that.
I'm not doing that, Gabby. Don't
Yeah.
worry about that. Another question for you about just the following that you've been able to get and the attention that you have on your page. What's the recipe for going viral? If I wanted to go viral, do you have a recipe of how you should go viral?
Yeah. I mean, I always believe a lot in like kind of just consistency and trial and error, you know? That's how I really came up in TikTok and social media, was just posting, trying to find my voice, trying to find that character, trying to find like who Josh Richards was going to portray on social media. And yeah, so for me, I was posting 5 TikToks a day. I was, like I said, going live for 4 hours a day. Like I was just doing like a large amount of content. That was a lot of my focus. And you kind of slowly but surely start to get more and more integrated into that For You page. People start to recognize your face a little bit more and more. And it might take a little bit of time, or maybe you find a video that's like really good and you come up with something original, or you find a trend and you're able to put your spin on it and it pops, and then that's going to boost all your other videos. So I think it's just consistency.
Okay. What's something, or what are things that happen behind the scenes, whether it's content creation, just your life, that you wish that people saw? I mean, people see a lot of your life. Is there anything that you wish people saw, whether it's the hard work, the planning, the ideation that goes into all of this stuff that probably takes a lot more time than people think it does?
Yeah, I think it would be, we've talked about even like doing kind of like a documentary or like fun little like mockumentary, like have some comedy in it, but like get to show the inside of Crosscheck and like this Gen Z production company, and you know, the writers' rooms when we're writing for the comedy sketch show, and our weekly meetings that we have as a company, and kind of like the whole process, being on set, like getting to show people really how we've been able to run this company and how everyone's, you know, putting in their work, I think would be really cool and fun. And there's a lot of funny moments we have. It's a great place to be. Like, I feel like we've all been able to really cultivate a cool machine that works so well together, and at the same time gets to have like a ton of fun. So I'd love to be able to show that to the world.
You talk about these funny moments and the things that you're involved in going forward that have a lot of comedy in them, a lot of humor in them. Is there anything that you look back on when you were gaining that following that maybe was embarrassing at the time, but you can now look back at and laugh about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm never gonna be able to live down the eye roll. That was like a pretty big thing that I did on tour when we did a social media tour, which was like the silliest, and I don't understand why people liked it, but it was just like you'd like tap fingers on your head and like roll your eyes, and it was like a TikTok thing. And it's like I really like, even talking about it like makes my stomach turn. I'm like, why did I ever do that? But there's like videos on the internet of me on stage, and it's like I'm doing the eye roll, and then like the whole audience is like and like freaking out, and I wish that could just like leave this planet. I wish that was never a thing that
let's
ever
get it
was
out of there.
done. Or yeah, that was tough. That was tough.
You live a life of chasing the next video, of finding out what the next trend is, of finding out what the next app is that people are going to be on. With the fast-pacedness of all of that, how do you find time to just like be in the moment? And I think we all struggle with that as humans. So how do you find time to be in the moment?
Yeah, I have a timer on all my social media apps.
Ooh.
So like I think that's been my biggest thing. Is just kind of setting a timer, and like I think people sometimes will hear that when I say it and they think like I like abide by this timer and I live by it. Like I put like an hour timer or 30 minutes or whatever it is on my social media apps, and everyone's like, dang, he only does 30 minutes? That's impossible, this guy's lying. And it's like, no, I don't necessarily only do 30 minutes. Like obviously I got work I'm doing, or I'm like going on and like looking for videos, or maybe I'm just bumming out and I'm just watching stuff online, right? But that 30-minute timer, it allows me to know how much time I've been spending on my phone, right? Sure. And it kind of gives me a second. It's just like when Netflix kind of hits you with the like, are you really still watching? And you're kind of like, you all of a sudden feel bad, and you're like, all right, maybe I'm gonna like go do like 100 push-ups or something. So like it's just something like that, right? Like it gives me a little alert. It's kind of like, all right, I've been on this app now for a certain amount of time. Like I know that am I doing anything productive right now on this app, or am I just kind of like scrolling because I've like
We've
gone
all
down
been
the
there.
rabbit
We've
hole?
all
Yeah.
been there.
So I love that. I think that kind of helps and it allows me to disconnect. And then I also try to go on like a camping trip every 2 months. I
Okay.
love to go on like a camping trip. Me and like a bunch of my friends, we all kind of like get together, carpool down, we'll drive somewhere in California. Like
That's
we were
awesome.
talking about, California's
Yep.
got so much to offer. Just like you can go to Big Bear
Yeah,
and be
range.
skiing in mountains, or you can like go to Joshua Tree and be in like the desert.
That's
So
awesome.
we'll go out and we'll camp together and just like bring our cars, find a nice little like campsite, tent up, eat by the fire all week, and just have like a weekend where completely disconnected from social
Kick your
media.
phones in the
Yeah,
corner.
yeah. No one's on their phones. We're like bringing out guitars, all singing our own music.
Amazing.
Like it's no speakers, no nothing. It's just you and the boys in the wild. It's great.
I love that. Since you have such a big following, since you have fans, since you're recognizable in public to a lot of people, do you feel like you can draw any similarities to the NFL players and the lives that they kind of live?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's a total different. I think they're two different worlds. Obviously, you know, like a lot of them do step into, I feel, social media. Like
Yeah.
Tyreek, for example, he's streaming. He's streaming now, playing video games, going live. So that stuff's really, really cool. And, you know, there's some of the same, like, in, like, you know, we both get asked for photos when we get on the street.
Right.
But I feel like, you know, they got a little bit of a different lifestyle than I do, and I have a different lifestyle than them. Like, they're waking up in the mornings and going to work, like, and getting in that work for football. And then if I'm waking up in the mornings, I'm, like, waking up in the mornings and going memorizing a script,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then going on set, and then we're filming for 12 hours. So it's definitely just, it's a total different life. I mean, these guys are, like, the best athletes in the world for a reason, you know?
If you could trade lives with one of them, doesn't have to be a Bills player. Is there
Any NFL player.
any NFL player that you would want to trade lives with based on what you see on social media?
I'm going to go Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Yeah. I don't have to change much about my name, just the
Yeah.
last name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just have
Still
to
the
drop
same
Richards,
name.
throw in Allen. It's pretty much
I
all the
love that.
same from there. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like we're built pretty much the same.
Josh
So.
kind of has a little bit of flow going now too. he doesn't have your exact hair, but he's got a little bit more flow
Yeah,
this year
no,
too.
no,
So
yeah.
he's got some swag to
He
him
does,
too.
for sure.
We love
Yeah.
Josh. We love both Joshes. All right, to finish this off in this episode, I'm gonna hit you with a few rapid fire questions. So to start us off, who is the coolest person you've ever met?
The coolest person I've ever met. You know, I met Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, and that was pretty surreal. I think also the time I met him at, I was 17, and I'd just come off like watching the movie and everything like
Yeah.
that. So to me, that was really surreal. So I'll go with that.
Okay. Who's the most famous contact in your phone? I'm sure you've got a lot of them.
Probably Mark Wahlberg, I'd say.
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
What is something you haven't done yet that you want to do?
Ooh. I mean, I think it's probably stepping more into acting. Like, it's just getting more and more involved in acting. Like, you know, we had the comedy sketch show. Just got to do a fun thing with A24 and Nicolas Cage. That'll be coming soon. Got to do like an animation show. So I would say, like, yeah, just diving more into acting. I'd love to get into like directing a little bit too. But,
I love that. That's so cool. What's the best thing you've bought with the money you've made from content creation?
My dog.
Your dog?
My dog, no doubt.
What type of dog?
I have a
Name?
Siberian Husky. Her name's Buddy. I know it's kind of strange to call a
No.
female dog Buddy. Some people always get like mad at me for it for some reason, but it works. All right, it just makes sense, and that's why her name's Buddy.
What's one trend you love right now on TikTok?
One trend I love.
Or maybe a favorite in the last couple months.
Yeah. I mean, there's this trend that's really easy, and it's kind of just like you and a friend, and you'll like walk through a door, and like a beat will play, and then it's just like the duo that, you know what I mean? It could be like the short and tall duo. It could
Okay.
be the whatever it is, but yeah, I like that trend. It's just funny. It's
Easy for everybody to
Yep.
make. All right, you're from Canada. I know you're not based in Canada anymore, but can you tell me why your milk comes in bags?
You know, we're just cautious about the environment. It's less littering. than those plastic gallon jugs that we have out here in the States. So yeah, we're just pro-environment
So
out
be
in
like
Canada.
Canada.
Yeah,
Be
like
like Canada.
It's less plastic.
If you had to change career paths right now, and you could be really good at this new career path, what would it
Like
be?
I would be great at this.
You'd
new
be
career
great
path.
at it too.
Oh, okay. Can it
Kinda-
be a sport or no?
It could be a sport, something different than what you do now.
All right. I mean, my dream was, Canadian. I always play in the NHL.
Yeah.
That was the dream. That's what I thought I was going to be for the longest time. Obviously, was not good enough at hockey, so I did social media. But I think
Being a hockey
NHL
player?
player would be the coolest thing to
That'd
me.
be pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Well, if you were an NFL player, what position do you think you'd play?
Whenever we played at school, I was quarterback. So I'd say quarterback.
QB. I
Yeah.
like it. You have QB energy. You have that leadership type energy.
Oh,
I can
thank
feel
you.
it. I
Thank
can
you.
feel it. Last question for you. If you had the Bills social media password for a day and you could make a TikTok, what type of TikTok would you create for the Bills? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
Man, yeah, you're really like trying to make me come up with a whole concept off the rip, eh?
You got access to the entire team. You got
Yeah.
access to some big names. You got access to the stadium, the facility.
And it's just
the weight
like
room.
one TikTok,
It's
or
just-
do I have access to like all social media all day?
Let's go with one TikTok.
Okay, I'd probably get into the writers' room and write a comedy sketch for the
Write a
team
comedy,
to do.
okay.
Like I'd want to do some fun like SNL vibe stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that'd be it.
Would Josh Allen be the main character?
Yeah, probably.
Duh, got to.
Probably,
He's a
probably.
funny guy.
He is,
If you
yeah.
get to meet him, get to spend some time with him.
I've seen
off the
stuff he's
football
done
field.
on social media. Like he had like
He's
he's
goofy.
he's good at playing like characters too. Like he does a
And
good
he's
job.
on the commercials now, and you
Yep.
can see like
Yep.
in the 5 seconds or the 20 seconds that you get of him when he's reading those lines, it's like
They're good line
you
reads.
got something here,
Yeah.
man. You got something here. Well,
Yep.
Josh, we know you have a lot going for you. Thanks for telling us about your rise to stardom, how you became a TikTok celeb, all the hard work that goes into it, and your fandom with Bills Mafia. I love seeing like the connections that happen because of the NFL, because of where you're from, because of social media. I think it's so cool.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, and enjoy the game. Go Bills.
Will do. Go Bills, baby.
I love it. Thanks.